And we are joined today by attorney and lead counsel at the NCA Group, Natasha Christina Agda, who's really here to talk about how entrepreneurs can leverage and access international markets. And I'm sure she's going to mention the importance of the diaspora. Natasha, where are you joining us from today?
Hi, Yumna. Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually based in New York at the moment, so not quite in the region, but always there in spirit and at heart. And, you know, considering this is a power talk, I'm going to just jump right into the topic, if you don't mind,
Thank you
to
so
make
much.
the most of our time. Thank you. You know, being an entrepreneur in general is a very difficult endeavor. On a good day, it's going to be a hard day. And without the proper resources and the proper support to make sure that you're able to see your venture through successfully, it's just a compounding of difficulty, right? Unfortunately, when you're looking at the MENA region, you're not only faced with an ecosystem that culturally doesn't necessarily allow for economic risk or personal experimentation that may or may not lead to failure, which is an inherent part of being an entrepreneur. You're also looking at difficulty that comes from infrastructure, lack of resources, lack of legal protections. And in order to be able to navigate that successfully, you kind of have to really pivot as an entrepreneur in the Middle East. And the way that you do that is you look outside of what's readily available at your fingertips, the things that are not necessarily at your front door. And the greatest resource for you is, as Yumna said, the diaspora. You know, I think to start this conversation, it's important to kind of distinguish between the different areas within the region, right? An entrepreneur in the Gulf is going to have different needs and access to different resources than an entrepreneur in the Levant, or as Yumna was mentioning, Lebanon in particular, a place where, unfortunately, people have been hard hit by multiple crises. And so when you look at a place like that and you see the importance of melting borders in order to get to a place of not just creative entrepreneurship, but, you know, in many ways also basic survival, the diaspora becomes more important. The role that it plays and the access that it gives, not just to capital outside of the country, but also to its networks, to its other, maybe more intangible resources, become by far more essential. So, you know, when I look at the broad spectrum of how you kind of take advantage of the diaspora, I would say, for one, definitely lean on tech, right? You are literally only one Zoom call away from your next partner, your next client, your next investor. And in order to be able to kind of take advantage of that, you really have to put yourself out there, participate, don't be afraid to get creative. And remember that the diaspora in and of itself is a very unique demographic, right? They have cross-cultural knowledge. They understand where you're coming from. They've established a base in whatever new home they've chosen for themselves. But their connection back to their homeland never disappears. They are just as invested in seeing the crises that you're facing resolved as you are, and they're there to empower you to do so. One of the best examples that I've seen of this is actually a project that I'm honored to be able to participate with, and it's a nonprofit organization called Jobs for Lebanon. This is an organization of approximately 70 volunteers, people who are of the Lebanese diaspora, who are based all over the world, from San Francisco to New York, to Paris, to Italy, to Beirut itself. And it is an online platform, so here's your tech component, that is meant to connect employers throughout the world with individuals in Lebanon who are seeking employment, or organizations and businesses within Lebanon who are seeking projects that they can outsource themselves to. Now, what's beautiful about this is that it kind of combines everything, right? You, as an entrepreneur in Lebanon, may have a graphic design business, and unfortunately, because of current circumstances, you don't have enough people within the geographic boundaries of Lebanon who are able to access your services. So you come onto a platform like Jobs for Lebanon. Jobs for Lebanon will create a profile for you and connect you with other companies and other individuals who are maybe situated in Canada or the United States or elsewhere who are in need of your services. And you just kind of connect the dots. But this to me is a really kind of creative way of leveraging technology. And so far, we've seen beautiful results. We've seen almost, I think, 7,000, a little bit over 7,000 candidates apply onto the platform, nearly 1,000 job opportunities. And most of them, if not all of them, are coming from the diaspora. So it's really beautiful to kind of see this new global international ecosystem that is dedicated to supporting the people within the country to meet the challenges that they're facing. That being said, the diaspora is definitely a phenomenal resource, and being able to combine that with tech to melt borders is incredible. But remember also that when you're operating in a cross-border environment, there are compliance requirements that you do need to be aware of, not just in your home jurisdiction, but in whatever jurisdiction you're going to be presenting yourself in. And so it's very, very important to kind of set yourself up for becoming comfortable with best practices globally, not just regionally, so that you can easily navigate whatever kind of compliance issues may or may not come up for you. Because when you are talking about a world without borders and you are talking about the internet, you do need to make sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's so that you can truly be successful and you don't accidentally trip up on something that could have easily been avoided otherwise. And so you can, frankly, make use of all of the beautiful resources around the globe that are ready and available and willing to support you and your venture in whatever it is that you're looking to do. So, of course, if you have any questions or if there are any specific elements of this conversation that you'd like to dig into deeper, I'm always available. I'm happy to join in, I believe, in one of the breakout sessions. And I thank you for your time, and I hope that this talk was helpful.
Natasha, thank you for your time. So on point, by the way. Thank you for being here and for joining us from New York. Thank you.